Peter Brandt, relatively well-known trader. He does a lot of X posts. He's been around for a long time. And he tweeted this, that since our halving event, okay, Bitcoin has gone down about 26%. But guess what? In 2016, we had the same thing happen, okay? Since that halving event, Bitcoin went down 27%. And then afterwards, guess what happened? Basically, it kept going until the peak in 2017 at $20,000, right? So again, this shows that we are mimicking previous cycles. In 2016, I remember that 2016 was the halving event, and then end of 2016 is when things start moving around September, October. I actually showed it last night. Every halving event, you don't really see that true parabolic rise until about September, October timeframe. But really, it's when November is when things start moving, right? But we do see a lot of volatility. We do see a lot of dips along the way. So we just saw a 26% dip from our peak, or from the halving event, I should say. And it's very, very similar to that cycle, right? Here's something else that shows that this is a great golden buying opportunity, that yesterday, whatever happened yesterday could have been the bottom, and we're ready to go higher. So if you look at this, I'm going to cut out my camera. So this is one of the major on-chain metrics, MVRV. And you could see basically right now we are as oversold as the collapse of FTX. Okay. And again, this is going back to November 2022. And you could see, even though we had many dips, okay, and this on-chain metrics have predicted many turning points where Bitcoin starts flying higher, but we haven't been this oversold. Bitcoin hasn't been this cheap since the collapse of FTX, when Bitcoin fell down to 15,000. I mean, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. This is what I want to show you guys. So it's a golden buying opportunity right now, right? Even though we may get more volatility. Yes, we may get more volatility, right? But this is one of those times where a lot of on-chain metrics, a lot of charts showed that, hey, this is normal. We have seen big dips like this before. We have seen corrections like this before. And then what happens after? We recover. We recover. Here's another example, right? In 2020, this was brutal, absolutely brutal, with the COVID crash. When Bitcoin fell from about $10,000, which wasn't that high to begin with, and fell down to about $3,800. Okay, ETH fell down to like $88. I remember that. If you think 2,000 something, 2,500 ETH was low, imagine ETH under $100. Yes, you could have bought ETH under $100 in 2020. You could have bought Bitcoin under 4,000 in 2020 due to that COVID crash. And what happened shortly afterwards, right? We had a little recovery. We had another dip, and then we kind of had another recovery. But it took a long time for Bitcoin to even get back up to $10,000. It took months upon months. And same thing with Ethereum. It took months upon months before it recovered back to $200, $300. And back then, it was much more fearful because that was during COVID, during shutdown. People were out of job. No one was working, right? People thought Bitcoin's cycle was over. There was no way that it could go back up and form a new high. But people that had patience, they waited and waited, and guess what happened? Bitcoin came right back up, right? Here's another one that's showing the same thing with the previous cycle. You guys know what I'm showing you guys. Time and time and time again, we see these moments. We see them all the time. There are many, many moments every single cycle where we go through some of these periods where you just have these corrections, you have these dips, you have these volatility, right? But times are very different now. Bitcoin is much bigger, much more stronger. It's much more mature than previous cycles. We have big boys like BlackRock that's loading up. You have MicroStrategy that's loading up by the billions, and many, many, many other companies that are implementing the Bitcoin strategy, right? We got ETFs now that never existed before that took in tens of billions of dollars of Bitcoin. So the environment is very, very different for many reasons. But if you're looking at movement, you're looking at the charts, we still have the same kind of corrections and dips and volatilities. And like I said, it's really the price of admission for gains. If you can't stand the volatility, you can't stand the dips that come along the way, well, then you're not going to be able to enjoy the rewards of gains later on, because most likely you would have sold out already. But those that have been in this space for a while, even over a few years, know that the ultimate strategy is simply to hodl and DCA if you can. If you can't DCA, then just hodl. That's really it. And you let the gains come to you. That's really what it comes down to. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below. I did see the Ronin network was exploited again for 10 million. They suffered one of the biggest hacks in 2021, $600 million. But this time around, maybe just a white hat hacker, so they may be giving it back. But still, Ronin network seems to be hacked way too many times. Way too many times. And also Solana is now approaching all-time high against Ethereum. So even though Solana has come down with a dip, it's coming back a lot stronger than ETH. And that part of that could be because there are a lot of people selling ETH right now. Just yesterday, last night, I reported the U.S. government is selling off ETH. Jump Trading has been selling off ETH. Grayscale has been selling off ETH. So there's like a bombardment of ETH being sold off right now. That could be the reason. Or it could be because Sol is just catching up or recovering faster. And that's it.